All right, this is Mike Molder, and as you saw in the intro, there is no Lee Teat this week. Lee Teat is AOL on me. He's actually his son's playing football tonight, and as any good father, he's following his son. Stewart's Creek is playing Smyrna in a freshman game tonight, so Lee won't be with me tonight. I'm gonna get him to call in at 7:30. He's gonna pick some games with me. But I've probably got the best fill-in as I could get to start the show here. I got my good buddy Scott Chastain, who does the play-by-play for Tullahoma. They got a big game this week. Scott, I appreciate you joining us, buddy.
Hey, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Scott, as I mentioned, you guys are headed over to Marshall County, man. Give me a little scouting report. What are you expecting tomorrow night out of the Tigers?
Well, I don't have much of a scouting report. They played one game and I
Right,
didn't see it.
right.
But I do know what I read. So they seem to fall behind early at Lincoln County and then scored 24 unanswered points and sort of won going away. So I think it probably took them about a half to get going good, sort of like it has Tullahoma the first couple of weeks. Takes about a half to really get cranked up, make good adjustments at halftime. These are excellent coaches, Coach Osteen and Coach Olive. So they make adjustments and they roll in the second half. So Marshall County's always really tough. They play hard. They play solid fundamentally. They don't beat themselves a lot. They play better at home. So I think Marshall County would be a little favorite in this game. Tullahoma's looked good the first couple of games against schools in larger classifications, but those schools aren't going to set any high flying marks this year.
Right.
So, you know, you have to balance these classification change games and try to judge how much, does a win over Coffee County mean? It's just a game in the win column. It's all about these, what looks like is just going to be four region games.
Right.
Um, so, this first one tomorrow night,
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, is, I think it's for the region championship. I mean, the Lawrence County Spring Hill game is going to be for survival, and everybody else is going to get in what is now a five-team region for 4A this year.
Well, now you gotta kind of take Nolensville into that picture. I think Paul Derrick's squad is going to be pretty good this year too.
Well, that's four teams go, so yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to go too. It's just a matter of seeding, and that's
Right.
what starts
Exactly.
tomorrow night in Lewisburg is
Right.
seeding. And if you do not win the game tomorrow night, you're not going to win the Region 4A championship.
Are
That's
you?
all there is to it. Now the
Mhm.
winner doesn't win it, but the loser is not going to win it.
I got you.
That's my opinion.
I agree with that 100%. Talk about your Tullahoma squad though. Ryan Scott, new quarterback, takes over for Fulton. Man, he's looked really good. 16 to 24, 299 yards. I think he's passing 67% rate, four TDs versus only one pick. You got to be pretty impressed with what you've seen out of Scott so far, don't you?
Very impressed with Ryan Scott, just a junior. He doesn't throw the ball when he doesn't have to,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't throw it into traffic. He hasn't really gotten the short, quick passing game that Tullahoma's been known for. Nick Barstad was excellent at it, just
Yep.
that quick drop and hit, little slant or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, that's Ryan's still developing that part of his game. His long balls, and you can see by Tullahoma stats, he's got like five passes over 50 yards or whatever. His
Wow.
long ball is really, really pretty.
Wow.
So Ryan Scott's he's legit.
I guess the other kid is probably getting a lot of the focus on the team, and I think this kid's got a shot at making some noise on the next level, and that's Jacoby Thomas. He's really looked good so far, hasn't he, Scott?
He's looked outstanding. 6 touchdowns in 2 games. He can do it all. Punt return, 50 seconds to go in the first half last week, sealed Coffee County's fate. He plays defensive back. He returns kickoffs and punts. He plays running back, wide receiver, quarterback. He'll line up in the Wildcat when they get close to the goal line. Um, Jacoby Thomas may be the most versatile player Uh, I can remember at Tullahoma
That's saying a lot.
in a long time.
Yeah. Well, that. So I watch your show, the Shastine show, every Monday, and you've got Tullahoma, and you guys, you got your own poll out. The Southern Middle Tennessee poll, Tullahoma #1. So I'm assuming you're thinking the Wildcats take care of business down there tomorrow, don't you?
Well, again, I haven't seen Marshall County, so I know they've got I think a sophomore running back that
Mm-hmm.
is really outstanding. They've always got some playmakers,
Yeah.
but based on what I've seen from Tullahoma as compared to recent years, and it's
Right.
just how it is, Mike. You get a feel for the kind of team a program puts out because
Mm-hmm.
usually, as long as the coach is there, they're pretty consistent each year with what they put out.
Right.
Marshall County puts out a good, solid team that can win on any night and can go to the third, fourth round of the playoffs on you. You just never know. But Tullahoma plays up to their capabilities and does the things on the road you have to do, like not turn the ball over and not have a bunch of penalties and those kind of basic fundamentals. First road game of the year for the Cats. Marshall County's a tough place to go. Lewisburg,
It is.
that stadium down there, it's a tough place to win.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when you got two teams that you and I both perceive as pretty equal, the kicking game is a difference. But both of these teams have got pretty darn good kickers. I noticed you guys, your young kicker had a tremendous start to his season. So, normally with an Estes over there at Marshall County, you'd give the edge, but Tullahoma kicking games look really good this year.
Yeah, don't give the edge quite to Marshall County there, and I know that's
Exactly.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Justice Chadwick and DJ Dillahay, his holder, and
Mm-hmm.
Sam Poteet, his snapper.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys haven't missed a thing. It's
Exactly.
like Estes and Chadwick's punting 40 yards a game. Jacoby Thomas is your main return guy with Jacob Dixon standing beside him sometime. Solid kicking
Yes,
games for
sir.
both these teams.
Yes, sir.
I don't think it's going to be decided here.
I agree. I agree. That's kind of where I was going with it. Well, Scott, let's move on, man. If you don't mind, if you got a little extra time, I know one team you're familiar with, and I told you before we got started here, Shelbyville, with new coach Josh Puckett, got back on track last week, 29-7 win over Columbia Academy. You guys handled them pretty easily there week 1. Of course, you and I, neither one of us really know a whole lot about Page, but Charles Rathbone, he's usually got a pretty solid squad over there. What's your thoughts on the Page Patriots heading into Shelbyville tomorrow? I'm actually going to be at that game. What's your thoughts on that game?
Well, I know less about Page than I do Marshall County, but
Yeah.
uh, I did see Shelbyville play and was not impressed. Again, Tullahoma's a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
They just shut them down, pretty much dominated them
Right.
on speed on the field, line of scrimmage, special, everywhere.
Right.
So I'm not high on Shelbyville. So if Page has something close to what they usually have, I think this is a year where Page beats Shelbyville.
I think between those two teams, Scott, neither team has got more than 5 starters coming back. Of course, both of those teams were very solid last year, advanced late into the postseason, but they're rebuilding, and they're not like Oakland where they're going to reload. You got to actually rebuild when you're a Shelbyville Page, and it's going to be interesting tonight to see how much both these teams have matured with a couple of games under their belt, and I think yeah, I think it'll be a better game than what it appears on paper. Both teams are 1-1. That's one reason why I'm going. I'm just out of curiosity. I want to see how much development we're going to see from week 2 to week 3 with these two squads.
Well, we know Josh Puckett is going to do really good things at Shelbyville. It's just a matter of when.
Yes, sir. Scott, how many years you been doing this play-by-play radio stuff? How many years you been doing it now?
Well, the years grow fuzzy, Mike. There's been a lot of them. I did my first game in September. In fact, the anniversary is tomorrow, September 4th, 1984 in Cookeville.
Wow.
Tullahoma went to Cookeville and beat Cookeville. And there's been some years where I didn't broadcast Tullahoma games on any radio station or anything. I
Mm-hmm.
was the sports editor at Tullahoma News for a couple of years, so I did that.
Okay.
Something you were reminding me about in the late 80s, early 90s, I was a videographer. I filmed the games, and then I went back to I had a little video studio, and I went back to my studio and I edited them down and then put my voice on doing the play by play and
Huh.
sold them to the players. And so I did that for a couple of years, you know. So I've sort of always been around it since '84, but best I can figure, this will be my 28th year of actually calling games,
Well,
broadcasting.
I told you, Scott, before we come on air, I think anybody that doesn't consider you, as a future Hall of Famer in the broadcast industry for high school football is crazy, man. You've done, I say it all the time. You and Ken do, you're probably the best play-by-play guy. You can bring the game to me on the radio, and that's not many people that have the ability to do that. You guys do a great job, and I really enjoy listening to you play call of the games each week at Tullahoma.
Well, I appreciate that, Mike. You know, in these small towns, you have broadcasters, and when they do it for a certain amount of time, then that's just what people sort of come to expect, and I think it maybe gives them a little bit of, good home feeling when they hear that familiar voice on Friday night.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I do it, so people can listen.
Well, Scott, tell our audience where they can hear you guys, both for the Tullahoma games and also for your weekly show there at the Duck.
Well, Friday nights, our games the video is live on LightTube here in Tullahoma, channel 23. And then the audio is live on multiple places. The LightTube YouTube channel, 939 The Duck, 939theduck.com, the 939 The Duck app. All of that on Friday night. And then on Monday night at 6, the Shastine Show, you can watch that live on Facebook, and you can follow the program, the Shastine Show, there on Facebook, and watch it live there. Also hear it on 93.9 The Duck and the other Duck outlets.
I'm going to start posting a link to your show when I think of it, Scott, on our Facebook page as well, man. I enjoy that show. I probably contributed more than what you guys like to, but I get in that live chat and I get to rolling because I'm really interested in what you guys bring to the table. So I may get just overlook. I probably get a little too active in the live comments, but I enjoy your show, man.
Hey, Mike, thank you. You know, we desire and aspire to have a place to talk sports and have fun doing it, and you add to that and add to the conversation, and we always appreciate that.
Well, Scott, I won't hold you up anymore, buddy. Again, thanks so much for jumping on with us, man, and giving us a rundown of that big game. It's going to be a good one tomorrow night. If you're in that Marshall County and Lewisburg area, I would strongly suggest you head over and watch that one. That should be a great game.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you, man.
Okay.
All right. Bye. All right. Scott Shastine, man, I wasn't trying to blow the guy up. He is good. He's really good. Anybody that has heard his play-by-play, they'll tell you the same thing. I got on the ticket radio, I want to say 6-7 years ago. I left the Duck briefly, and then I got on the ticket radio, and that's where I met Scott. Scott was doing a show there, and I got hooked up with those guys. Started doing a pregame show for Scott and them as they were doing Tullahoma football. That was where the Friday main event come to life. We did a pregame show for a couple of years there for Scott. That's where I met him. Man, he's really good at what he does, and I always enjoy talking to Scott. And I have much respect for what he brings to the table as a play-by-play broadcaster. All right, fellas, we're going to jump into the show real quick. I've got the live chat up, and I just lied to you. I said I wasn't going to be paying attention. I was going to be paying attention or not. I see my Peabody Pride guys in, Lawman's in. We got Jaquil Holman in. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Sorry, man, I was in the middle of an interview. Wasn't really paying a lot of attention to what was going on. But appreciate you guys. We're going to start picking games, and if I pick one that you think I messed up on, jump in the live chat, man. I can handle it. I got broad shoulders, wear me out. Northview, I'm going to talk about the 3 games tonight real quick. I'm not going to hit on them real hard. Northview Academy at Gatlinburg, Pittman. My buddy Derek Ring, he's been on the show several times. Great coach, came over from Dresden. He's also coached at Powell. He's a Maryville product, come up under George Quarles there at Maryville. Excellent football coach. They will walk in this game. Northview Academy, GP beat them 41-6 last season. Gatlinburg did fall to Kings Academy last week, but Kings Academy with that big offensive lineman, I mean, they got a ton of talent, so I'm not going to read too much into that. D1 versus D2 contest. I think Gatlinburg Pittman's going to be fine, and I think they knock off Northview Academy tonight. I'll get an update on that score here soon. It's probably already started. Cocke County, South Green, you got a Class 5A versus a Class 2A program in South Green. South Green won this game 51-27 last year. South Green, just about everybody back on defense. 10 kids back on defense. Cocke County 1-9 last year. They do have a win. They did beat Northview 41-8 last week, but I don't think they're going to improve to the point that they hang with South Green. I like South Green, the 2A school, to beat the 5A school tonight. Rockwood at Oliver Springs. This is a very interesting game, actually. Oliver Springs won this game 10-0 last year. This is a 1A versus a 2A. I think Rockwood's going to be really good. South Green wins. I hear you along, man. I'm with you, brother. Rockwood, I think, I don't know. I didn't see what the pick was on this one as far as Coach T. I think it may have been on one of the Coach T big ones. I like Rockwood in this one. They lost to Sweetwater 34-13. They did beat Midway in overtime week 1. I think Midway's going to be a decent team. Peabody Pride likes Rockwood. You guys are agreeing with me. That ain't no fun. Come on, man. Let's make it interesting. But I like Rockwood. I think it's going to be a good game again this year. But with 16 starters back for Rockwood, man, I like them. Even though they're on the road at Oliver Springs, I'm going to go Rockwood. Peabody, I got you, brother. We're right there together. Let's move on to tomorrow night. Milan at South Gibson. That's a big Region 7 contest, 3A. 63% of our fan base like Milan to win this game. Of course, Milan got knocked off by Peabody Pride. Peabody's team week 1, 24-13. I think they were supposed to play Liberty last week, and I'm guessing that's a COVID forfeit. I'm not sure what happened there. Peabody likes Milan by 7. I'm gonna agree. I think so. South Gibson lost a big chunk of that team that won the region last year. Luke Reed's back at running back. They are 1-1. They beat Trinity Christian. They did lose to Lexington in week 1. I think Milan is built to win some games this year. Anthony Brown, the transfer quarterback, he's going to be a difference maker. I don't know what happened week 1. I'm sure Peabody could tell us a little more about it. That Peabody defense probably had a whole lot to do with it. And then the jury's still out on Carl Diffie. I don't know anything about him. I know he had a good career there at North Panola. So too much speed on Milan's squad. That's what Peabody says, and I agree. I think Peabody has got a lot of speed. South Gibson, again, I think they're young, lost a lot of starters. So I'm going to go with you guys. I'm going to go Milan. Joe Burns at Clay County. Go Covington. We ain't even talked about that game yet, Boswell. Good gosh. Joe Burns at Clay County. The Red Devils, 68% of you guys like Tom Atkins' team, and I like Tom Atkins' team. That kind of told me how good this Huntland squad may be. They lost to Huntland 48-27 last week. I was at the Eagleville Huntland game, so I wasn't really sure how good Eagleville was. Was Huntland that good, or Eagleville maybe had fallen off a little bit? But beating this Joe Burns, and I think this Joe Burns team is much better this year. And I think Joe Burns, they beat Harpeth week 1, and then Clay County beat Columbia Academy in week 1. So 2 good squads. Tough call here. Now they did get shut out by Stone Memorial last week. Where's Lee Teat at when I need him? Because I usually, when I'm on a tough decision, I usually go the opposite of Lee Teat. Somebody give me a pick. I'm gonna go the other way. All right, thanks guys. Man, I'm feeling Clay County on this one, but I'm gonna go Joe Burns on the road. I'm gonna go with the Friday main event fan base. I think Maxie Owens, Emmanuel Barbie, Garrett Little. No, they got some talent on this Joe Burns team. I'm gonna go with and Joe Burns lost this game last year. Clay County won 16-8. I think the Red Devils go on the road and get vengeance. What do you think about that? Anybody? Nobody. Come on, guys. I don't know about all these teams either. I'm throwing a guess out there though. East Hamilton and traveling to East Ridge. I'm all about Grant Reynolds. One of my favorite dudes, man. He's a coach. Say I knew him back when he's at Boyd Buchanan. He actually eliminated my son in his senior year in the I want to say second or third round at Cascade. So much respect. I like Grant Reynolds, man. He does a great job. 117 and 53 overall in his career. So obviously the guy knows what he's doing. 94% of our fan base like East Hamilton. Lawman, no clue on this game. Yeah, you must have been talking about Clay County. Because this game right here, East Hamilton and the Hurricanes are going to walk. 94% of our fan base like them, and I like them. Even though the Pioneers 1-1, they lost to Bledsoe County. They did 7 weeks. Sorry, I'm reading ahead here in my notes. They did beat Sells Creek week 1. But I like East Hamilton. I think they're rolling this one probably by quite a bit. Anybody got a feedback on that one? He's impressed by Peabody. No, Lawman's complimenting Peabody. Well, y'all just have your own little conversation in the background there, fellas. Don't pay attention to what we're doing here on the show. So, Summertown at Collinwood. This right here should be a good game. I think Lee and I both missed this one last week. Richland kind of showed that they're for real, beating Collinwood 26-10. I thought Scotty Hannah's team would probably win that game, but did not. And then Summertown, obviously they're at 2-0, beat Wayne County 26-6. Summertown won this game 43-28 last season. Summertown beat Mount Pleasant by 1 point in week 1, and I think Mount Pleasant is going to be very good this year. Collinwood's already picked up a region win over Middleton. So, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Javen Edmonston, 192 yards. He's got some TDs. Anakin Johnson, 137 yards rushing. Both these kids play for Summertown. Putting up big numbers early here in week 3. I'm going to go Summertown. Let's go the Eagles. 78% of the Tennessee. Oh, you like Collinwood? Really? All right. Peabody likes Collinwood. Well, I'm going to go opposite you, big boy. You're going to be my Lee Teat this week, it looks like. Peabody Pride, is that Lee Hayes? Just acknowledge that. I didn't know if that was your handle or not. I'm guessing it is. So, Summertown, 78% of our Tennessee sports fan base on Twitter like Summertown. I'm going to go with Summertown. Union City at Adamsville. I don't know what to think about this Union City squad. They got demolished 35-3 last week. Tough one. Adamsville beat Gleason in week 1. They got demolished by Hardin County. Hardin County's really good squad. So I don't want to read a whole lot into that loss. Brendan Gray's done a great job there at Adamsville. I'm kind of leaning toward Adamsville just because I don't know what the Golden Tornadoes are going to do under Nick Markle. I don't know. I don't think he's put his uh, brand on the program yet. I mean, you got to consider any new coach. They didn't get spring practice, got very minimal practice in preseason, so it's going to take a while for these first year coaches, I think, to flourish. Uh, Lawn man likes Adamsville. I'm with you, brother. Coyote cockroach that's Lee Teat right there. He likes Adamsville. Uh, I'm with you guys. I like Adamsville. Good that you joined us, Lee Teat. I'm pretty sure that's you. Just say yes. I don't know. Union City, Adamsville. So we're all going to Adamsville. We're all in agreement on that one. The next one on the list, this is the last one I'll talk about, and then we'll get Derek Hunt on, Maryville's head coach. Independence at Centennial, and that's Independence. 87% of the Tennessee sports fan base likes the Eagles. Peabody is a local radio covering CPA at Bartlett. All right. Oh, you're asking questions. Oh, you're asking questions in the chat. All right. Sorry about that. Threw me off my game here. Independence at Centennial. Scott Blaze squad is 0-1. They did lose to a really good Summit team there in week 1. I got a chance to watch that game. I watched. So, no, that's not right, is it? Is that right? Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry, folks. I got my notes mixed up. 40-34. I think I watched that game online. I think it was streamed somewhere, and I watched that. Because I remember the quarterback for Summit, one of the Wade brothers, kind of went off in that game. And that was the only reason, because Independence led that game most of the way. Centennial has struggled with their 0-2. They lost to Smyrna 34-10 last week, and they were shut out by Ravenwood in week 1. No big surprise. I thought the Cougars were going to be better this year, but they haven't. I mean, they've had some tough competition, so I don't want to read too much into it. 87% of our fan base likes Independence. I'm leaning in that direction as well. I think Independence probably wins this game by a couple of scores. Scott Blaze squad, very solid. They should have won that Summit game, to be honest with you, but they did not. Especially with Keaton Wade out. Now, Destin's still playing, but Keaton was out, so we only had one of the Wade twins to deal with. That was a game I think Scott Blake would look back and tell you they should have won that game. But I'm gonna go Independence in that one. All right, fellas, I'm gonna take a quick break right here. I'm gonna get Derek Hunt up with us. I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't realize I had Scott Chastain on that whole segment. My bad. Scott, you got a little bit more exposure. I got too many things going on here. I can't keep up with everything. But I'm going to take a break, and I will be back with Derek Hunt on the other side of the break. Hey, folks, I wanted to mention another one of our sponsors. That's Elaborate Images. Owner is Marcia Howard. They do a great job for us. They're responsible for our banners, our T-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, all kinds of apparel. In addition, they do bags, they do drinkware, they do office supplies, trophies. It's laser cutting and etching. They do, all kinds of services, and they do an excellent job. We're very happy with it. I haven't had a single one of these hats that somebody didn't want whenever we visited different teams and different facilities throughout the season. So everybody's really, amazed at the quality of their merchandise. We appreciate Marcia Howard and all those guys do at Elaborate Images for us here at the Friday Main Event. Wanted to give you a little information on them. Again, they are located in Unionville. I do have a link posted on the FridayMainEvent.com directly to the ElaborateImages.com website. So check them out, man. They've got some great merchandise. They do quality work at good, reasonable prices. So appreciate everything Elaborate Images has done for us here on the Friday Main Event. All right, we are back, and again, this is Friday Main Event. I am Mike Molder, going solo tonight. Lee Teat out at a ball game. His son's playing, so you guys just bear with me. I'm doing this by myself tonight, but we're going to get into the coaches' interviews now, and I got one of the best in the business on with me right now. Of course, I'm talking about Maryville head coach Derek Hunt. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm good, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Coach, first off, I kind of hit this in the break, but congratulations on the birth of your third child. I think Colby, little daughter you got now. I think that's your third child. How's she doing?
Yeah, that's right. She's doing great. Her and Mama are both doing good, and so we're just a little tired, but that's nothing new than what anybody else has gone through with a first, second, or third kid. So, but everything's
You there?
yeah. Did you hear me? I said
Oh,
everything's good, and I appreciate you asking.
yeah. I'm sorry, I lost you there for a second. We're good now. Yeah, is she sleeping all night yet?
Not yet. No, not really even close just yet.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Baby steps.
Exactly. Well, Coach, you started a new quarterback this year. I think you got Junior Carson Jones. I think he ended the night against Blunt there, 8 of 12, 162 yards, 2 TDs. Not a bad start for Carson, I'd say.
No, he had a good first night. I think he felt pretty confident and did a good job going through reads and made some plays with his feet too. He got in the end zone another time on the ground, and so really excited about him. And I think he's going to have a big year.
Well, my source over there, and of course I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. She says that number 10, Caleb Dunford, your backup quarterback. She says he looked really impressive in the preseason. Would you feel comfortable with him running your offense? If the need arose for that.
Well, sure. I mean, Caleb's come a long way in the preseason, and certainly since last year. So yeah. I mean, obviously, I think Carson's at another level, but he's been in the offense for obviously a whole nother year. Further along than Caleb has. So we like Caleb Dunford though, and he's a good. He's going to have a good year, hopefully, with our JV team and learn a lot. And who knows? He does have a strong arm and has some great legs too behind it. So Rebel Woman would certainly know. She would probably know better than I would. So,
She said
you know,
you'd know where that come from when I said
yeah,
that.
yeah. She would know better than I would. So
I hear you. She's a good one.
she
Uh,
is.
Coach, another junior, I think Parker McGill, he had a big game for you guys. I think he had 98 yards, only 10 carries, scored 3 TDs. Did you expect Parker to have, that type of production? Oh, he's replacing a very good player in T. Hodge. Is now playing for the Vols. Were you expecting that kind of production out of Parker right out of the gate?
Yeah, we certainly did. He's actually a senior, yeah, I mean he filled in a lot. Obviously, when T was hurt last year, and
Coach?
last year, and just kind of in the off season, he's had a great off season. Getting in shape and gotten bigger, faster, stronger. So we're really excited about him as well. And I'll say this: Parker would be the first one to say it. Really excited about what our offensive line can be capable of this year. They certainly had a good first game. We have a long way to go in a lot of those departments, but Parker would be the first to give those guys a lot of credit too.
Well, that's where I was headed, Coach. I know I read in the paper where you said following that first game, you still had a lot of starting spots yet to be determined.
Yeah.
Now, 2 weeks later, two more weeks of practice. Are those starters more set for you guys, especially up front? A little more obvious who's going to be starting from here on out?
Yeah, maybe in some spots. I wouldn't say every spot though, Mike. Honestly, I think that if had we played last week, we might be further along and kind of knowing what to expect and where we're at as far as the depth chart goes. But we probably played 13 to 14 guys with our first group, our starters, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
on both sides of the ball. So, I don't know if we got through that open week with more answers, but I do think we got better. So,
Mm-hmm.
We'll see as we continue to play and go and get further down the road. But our goal is to be playing our best football come November. That's our
Right.
goal. Every year we want to be peaking at the right time, and we certainly have some great tests early in the year. And so
Right.
we'll learn a lot from those big games, and I think we'll learn a lot tomorrow night.
And you mentioned last week, and I think you guys were supposed to play Beard, and that game has been rescheduled for September the 18th, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And so no more bye weeks. So you guys play every week from here on out till you either win a title or you get knocked out in the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, that's right. No more bye weeks. Yep.
That's tough. We're speaking to Maryville head coach Derek Hunt here on the Friday Main Event. Coach, Cleveland has had, they had an extra game to prepare. Like you were talking about, you guys missed that extra week of live action. They had a tough loss against a solid Knox Central squad there in week 1. Played well against Hardin Valley last week. Were you or any of your staff able to maybe ease over there and kind of catch a little bit of that game last week?
Well, I certainly was, and I had my hands full at the house.
I bet you
I can
did.
tell you that. Yeah, no. So I was not at either of their games.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I do think that, they're replacing a coordinator on both sides of the ball.
That's correct. Yep.
But my goodness, they got beat by the defending 5A state champs and hung in there with them for 4 quarters. So,
right.
Nothing, that's nothing to feel bad about, I wouldn't think. And Central does that to a lot of teams, especially their defense is always so good. But then beat a Hardin Valley team and had, I think, 4 touchdown passes more than 20 yards. And so I kind of big played them a little bit. And I think they'll give us a test, and got a really good running back. Quarterback makes really good decisions, and so it'll be interesting. I think I'm excited though. Finally, I've never had a week 2 bye. We've never been through anything like that, and so that was tough. But it made the week feel like a month. I mean, it feels like it's already been a month since we've played, and so we're just excited to get back out there.
What'd you do during that big layoff, man? Did you get any new hobbies? I mean, I was kind of curious what you guys. I know you're normally, your whole summer is filled with football, but what was it like from March to June? You guys didn't really have anything going on, and then how was that for you?
Well, I mean, certainly it was different and difficult because we didn't get to see our kids. We didn't get to see our guys, our players. But, Mike, there's a whole lot more to life than football.
Oh, yeah.
And when my wife and I were kind of getting started staying at home talking through it, because she's a kindergarten teacher, so she was in the same boat as I was.
Right.
Our whole goal was we don't want to look back on that time and think that we just kind of wasted it. So, we tried to be intentional about getting to spend time with our kids and hanging out with them and doing things with them that we maybe wouldn't get to do normally if we were in school. So, we really enjoyed that time together and getting to hang out and do things that, like I said, we don't normally get to do. And hopefully, we look back on it and think that we took advantage of it.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, we talked about your offense a little bit, Coach, but that defense, I think they held William Blunt to 118 yards total of offense. Tell me about some of the kids you were impressed with on that side of the ball.
Well, we're excited about our guys on defense. We return not many starters. Lou Birchfield he actually didn't get to play in the first week against William Blunt because he was a close contact quarantine.
Okay.
And we had another starting corner, Thomas Fry, who was the same boat. So dealt a little bit of adversity, but those 2 guys, Lou's a returning starter, and then you got Zach Braden and Hagan Webb are returning starters on the D line, and then other than that, it's just DJ Burks in the secondary at safety. So everybody else is brand new to us. We're replacing 17 starters from last year's team, but the reality is, we've got a lot of kids that I'm really excited about, that our coaches are really excited about, that have worked hard and earned the opportunity to start for Maryville High School. And we've got a ton of kids that nobody knows their name yet, but they're going to, by the end of the month, I think, because they're really good football players, and, they're going to prove that, they belong out there.
That's one thing, you just mentioned that, especially us guys that are in the media trying to figure out, who to pick for these games. I know that's not a big deal to you guys, but you never know. I mean, like you said, you guys had 2 kids. They weren't actually sick, but they were forced to quarantine because of contact. So week to week, it makes it even harder for me, particularly to determine who may, perform well this week, because you don't know who they're going to be bringing to the table. It's a crazy time we're in.
That's absolutely right. Everybody, and I think there's a lot of teams in that boat. Just with kind of what we dealt with start of 2020.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, I think my source over there said you've got a total of 6 former Red Rebel coaches on your staff, including yourself. How much does that kind of feed into the family concept that as long as I've been following you guys, it's kind of this program. That's what they're all about. The fact that you've had so many kids that have come back into the fold, that were former players and are now coaching. What's that mean to you having those guys on staff with you?
Yeah, Mike, I think that's our kind of our bread and butter, so to speak. I
Me
just
too.
think that our the camaraderie within our staff and we just I'll say this, we really like spending time with each other, and we spend a lot of time with each other, just during the week we go and eat together on Tuesday nights every week, and in the off season we are um, being intentional about what we do together. We'll have a day at the lake with just the coaches. We always go somewhere, out of town, basically out of state every year to a college to learn and not necessarily just a clinic, but to visit another, a college, football staff and learn from them or watch them practice. And we'll do some fun stuff while we're there, and so our families, all of our families get together, after home games on Friday nights, and we do it in the preseason, have a big, so it really is just like a big family, and we
Right.
just enjoy being around each other. And I think that only helps us work well together. And obviously it follows, or it trickles down to our kids, I think, for sure.
That's so weird that you said that. We had Shane Jacobs on. Of course, he's Peabody's head coach. They've won 2 in a row. Uh, and he said the same thing. He said, my staff, because we told him, you've won 2 state titles in a row, and there's going to be people coming to try to, pick at your staff. Because, you're a hot commodity. You got some great coaches around you. And, he said it basically the same thing you said. We love being together. We do things outside of football. And I think that's the key ingredient to all you guys that have long-term success is the fact that you enjoy being around each other. And that's awesome. And I think that 100% has a lot to do with the success you've had there.
No doubt. And I pinch myself every day that I get to work with the guys I get to work with, because, some of them I played for when I was at Maryville, and they're still on staff. And I'm just so fortunate to have great coaches and great men and great role models, not only around me, but around our football players every day.
Speaking of great kids, you lost some great ones. T, Cade, a lot of kids off that team last year.
Yeah.
Have you stayed in touch with those guys? Any of them talked to you since they've arrived on campus?
Yeah, so I've talked to a lot of our former guys, and sometimes it's hard to get a hold of them, honestly, because
Right.
they're so busy, And but I know, like AJ Davis, they play tonight, and so I'm anxious to get to see him tonight. Dylan Hopkins, from 2017 at UAB,
Yep.
so they play tonight, and been in touch with Cade, been in touch with T,
Awesome.
and so it's just weird though, because not all of them are playing.
Right.
Some of their conferences have shut down for the season and are pushing it back to spring. But obviously, like Tennessee is playing, and then you got UAB tonight. So, it's been different, but we have stayed in touch as best we can, and with a bunch of other ones too, who even aren't playing college football. And that's what makes kind of what as a football coach, that's what makes it so special, is the relationships you build don't end at the end of their senior season.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, I appreciate you jumping on with me, man. I don't want to hold you up anymore, but it's always enjoyable talking to you, man. And you do a heck of a job over there. And well, I'll speak for Lee, man. We're very impressed with what you do, and glad that everything's going good with that new baby.
I appreciate you, Mike, and I'll say it live on air. I really miss Lee Teat tonight.
Don't blow his head up.
You do a great job, but it's not the same without Lee Teat. So please tell him that we missed him.
I'll definitely do that, Coach. We appreciate you, buddy.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, see you, man. We didn't need to hear that. Lee, your head's going to be so swelled up I won't get you in the door next week. I miss Lee too, though. It isn't the same without Lee here, doing the thing with him. But, hey, I understand. He needs to be there with his boy. I totally agree with that. So that's awesome, man. All right, well, that's Maryville. And look, this dude has won 2 state titles in the last 3 years. How many coaches start their coaching career? And I'm not even sure. He's not much over 30. He can't be. I'm saying he's early 30s. I don't even know his age. I'm guessing early 30s. I'm sure Rebel Woman could tell me that. But man, he's a he's a George Quarles, prodigy. He's just like Coach Quarles, very family oriented, and a fine young man to set an example for his players. And I appreciate Coach Hunt jumping on with us. Uh, he's one of many coaches that we enjoy talking to. I tell you what, guys, I'm gonna flip it over to a commercial real quick so I can get the next coach on. I don't want to do that on air and bother you guys with that. So check this out, and we'll be back right after this. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you about a new sponsor that's come on board with us this season. That's the Cutting Edge. Joan Molder, my beautiful wife, is the proprietor of this establishment, and she wanted to know why I did not have any advertisements for her on the Friday Main Event. Well, that's a very good question. I don't really know the answer to that. Probably because I cater mostly to male clientele, and I'm only permitting very average to bad-looking men to enter that establishment. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, she's got her own shop, and she's very proud of the shop. And she does have primarily a female clientele. She does pedicures, manicures, obviously hairstyles, colors, cuts, perms. Anything you would expect with any salon. That she has a tanning bed, so she's got anything you want, and she has the ability to give you exclusive treatment for you women. She's the only hairstylist at the salon, so you get that one-on-one time that you don't see with the big salons. It's a good experience. Again, it's primarily for women. You got that, men? Kidding, kind of. All right, we are back on the Friday Main Event. Mike Molder here, minus Lee Teat. Lee Teat is had a ball game watching his son play tonight. So you guys are stuck with me going solo tonight. We just had Maryville head coach Derek Hunt on with us. We've got another great coach, good friend of mine over here in Middle Tennessee. We've got Watertown head coach Gavin Webster on. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Mike.
Well, Coach, you guys, it's been a crazy year for sure with this COVID virus, with the masks, the temperature checks. How has it been there at Watertown? Have you guys managed that? You managed to stay pretty healthy so far this year?
Well, we've got regulations that of course, that we follow just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And, just do the best we can. It's just something that you got to do. You can't worry about it. You got to do it every day. And I think, it's just we've been doing it since the summertime, since it's become natural. Kids know we got to do it, know what they got to do when they check in. And, and we've been fortunate so far, but just try to keep our fingers crossed that nobody up this way gets it. And, hopefully we'll be able to have a season. Or continue to have a season.
Yes, sir. It's crazy. This has become the new norm. Your team, Coach, you're off to a great start. Despite a loss last week to a 4A Nolensville team, very good Nolensville team. Have you been pretty satisfied with the performance so far?
I have. We had a, and I think like probably the majority of the teams that played week one, we had we got the win at Gornsville, but had a rough start. It was a typical, nobody's got the scrimmage or anything. But that first game was typically like a scrimmage because you see what you got to work on. And we had a lot of penalties. And of course, not take nothing away from Gornsville. They played a great ball game. But and we felt fortunate to come away with a win for as bad as we played. We didn't think we played very well that game with the penalties and had some other miscues, but got a lot of that corrected, and from 1 week there till we played Nolensville, even though we got the loss last week, I was very pleased with the way the kids come out, and it was like a total night and day in how we performed and how we executed on offense and defense. So I was really pleased, with just that growth that we had from that week 1 to week 2.
That seems to be, I've talked to a lot of coaches so far, and that seems to be the same thing, you treat that first 1 or 2 weeks as because you didn't get any scrimmage, you didn't get any 7-on-7, so you really didn't know going in, exactly what you had, and you knew there was going to be some kinks that had to be worked out. But I'm glad to see that you guys, in your opinion, played a lot better against Nolensville. What about Casino? I know he's your returning junior quarterback. He's got a full season under his belt running that offense. Have you been pretty pleased with his play so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to knock the rust off like everybody else.
Right.
Braden, last year and had a wind up having a great year. And about mid-year or 3/4 way through the year, he hit his stride pretty good. And, like you said, we didn't have opportunity to have any 7-on-7s, and we usually do several of those during the summer. If anything, it works on your timing. I know a lot of people don't like it, but we kind of use it as conditioning, a timing thing, and, he hasn't had that yet. So he's knocking the rust off. For what we've got to do, yes, I'm pleased with where he's at. He grew a little bit more last week, got a little better. So, it's just a continuous process. We tell them every week, we want to be better, each week. If we're not seeing progress, then we got problems. So, I was really pleased with the way he come on last week. Yes.
Coach, another kid, Jordan Carter, he's having a big year for you guys. I think he already has 29 tackles in just 2 games. He's accounted for an interception, a forced fumble. He's definitely one of your leaders on that defense. He was for you last year as well. What is Jordan, what has he meant to your program the last 2 years?
Jordan's a football player. I don't really know how else to put it.
Yeah.
He's just a football player. He knows defensively. He's got a nose for the football. He's one of these cats that he can mess up, make a wrong read. He can still be on the tackle or still make the tackle. He's got that much quickness and that much speed about him. And yes, he's a leader for us. He's got the opportunity. He's our starting running back now, so he's actually playing. He's done all that, Mike, playing both sides of the football.
Right.
So he's our starting running back on offense, and then plays inside linebacker on defense. So
Iron Man. Iron Man. Coach, again, we're talking to Watertown head coach Gabe West. Coach Casino, I think his main targets have been Quintarius Hughes Malone and Brandon Watt so far. Have you been pretty happy with the production you've had there in the past game with those 2 kids on the outside catching the ball?
Yeah, we have. Like I said, we felt like, we could have done things a lot better at Gornsville, and we worked out some kinks going into Nolensville, and might not have threw for as many yards, but we executed on what we wanted to execute on better, if that makes sense.
Right.
We got 3 or 4 guys that need to be touching the ball when we go offense. And, we're not a one-man show. We try to spread the ball around and try to get the ball to our playmakers. And sometimes it all depends on who's got the hot hand. They may get more touches than that other person. It really all depends on a lot of times. But yeah, I've been pretty pleased so far, Mike.
Well, Coach, I told you earlier in the week that Lee and I were going to head over to Creek Bank tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it. My partner Lee, he is going to be there, but it's a tough Yellow Jacket squad you guys are facing. You guys last year just about dead even. I think one of you won a game by 3 points. You turn around, the other one won by 3 points. So the teams, I think, at least last year were very, very evenly matched. How did the Yellow Jackets look on the game film this week?
Mike, is typical. They're a Yellow Jacket football team. They look very good. Coach Blake Satterfield, they do a good job, him and his staff, and they're going to have them guys ready to play, and we know that. We preach that all week. They're typical Trousdale County football team. They're hard-nosed. They get after it on both sides of the football, and we look for another slugfest going into tomorrow night at the Creek Bank.
I think so too. Kind of sticking with your region, Coach, another team, despite the 0-2 mark, I think is a lot tougher this year. I believe Westmoreland. I think they're legit this year. They've looked pretty good. What's your thoughts on Westmoreland?
Mike, I've not seen any film on them yet. I've looked at the scores, and the scores, the scores are indicated that hey, they're a lot better.
Right.
They do a good job up there. That coaching staff is going to have those guys ready to play, and they're always a tough outing. You just can't count Westmoreland as a win.
Right.
And so we're going to have to be ready. And Coach Chad Perry does a good job up there. And like I said, I ain't had a chance to watch any film on them yet. But just other than just looking at the scores, that tells you something. They play some good teams really close. So,
Right.
you know, anything could go in this region.
Watertown head coach Gavin Webster joining me here on the Friday Main Event. Coach, your defensive coordinator Josh Hackett, me and Lee, we brag about him all the time. We think he's one of the better young coaches in the state. Do you see him at some point maybe heading out and taking on, his own program as a head coach?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Josh, he's got a great passion for football, and he does a great job, and I don't ever want to be someone that's going to hold up someone who's got that aspiration to be a head coach.
Right.
And hey, if he ever decides to do that and leave, he's got my blessing. I don't want, I don't want to lose him. I love to keep him, I love to keep him as long as I'm around,
Right.
And but hey, he's a great guy, and I'm fortunate to have him on my staff. I've been blessed. He's been with us, I think, since 2015. I think was his first year.
Right.
So we've been Watertown football and Watertown High School has been very blessed to have him.
Well, Coach, my partner Lee Teat, he's on record as saying either you guys or Trousdale will represent the East over in Cookeville. But there's another team that's looked really good. That's Coach Fitzgerald up there at Meigs. His team's looked really good out the gate. Who else do you feel may be contenders over on you guys' side of the bracket, besides obviously you, Trousdale, Meigs? Anybody else that you're hearing about that may create some ripples for you guys heading toward postseason?
I'll be honest with you. Just kind of watching the scores. You got the region down that we always face first, the Tyner region, and been kind of following Bledsoe a little bit.
Yep.
I thought they were, we played them last year and beat them in the playoffs, but I thought they were a very well coached football team and had potential. And I think they've won, if I'm not mistaken, they've won both of their outings, I believe.
Yes, sir, they have.
So, that's kind of one team that, it's pretty much always been Tyner down there, Tyner, and so it could be somebody else coming out of there.
I think they played them. I think they play each other tomorrow night, matter of fact.
Oh, do they?
I believe they do. Yep.
We'll get to see real quick
yep.
then.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you jumping on with me, man. Be sure give my buddy Lee Teat a hard time when you see him over there tomorrow night.
I will, Mike. Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks, brother. We'll see you, man. Good luck tomorrow night.
All right, we'll see you. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. All right, that's head coach Gavin Webster, head coach at Watertown. Great dude, man. I always enjoy having Coach Webster on with us. They got a really good team. And one thing that stuck out at me, and I'm a Coach T regular, I'm seeing respect from the Trousdale County crowd on Coach T. Most of those guys, I've seen them hammer opponents over and over, and I love those guys. I hang out with them all the time. Usually they're hammering, they're talking more smack than anybody you ever see on Coach T, but I'm seeing just a little bit of respect out of the TC folks for H2O this year. So, and they should be respected because Watertown's played really, really well against Trousdale the last couple of years. That's going to be a good game, man. I'm heartbroken I'm not going to be able to go, but I'm going to Myrtle Beach Saturday morning, and my wife, and most of you guys know whatever your wife says goes. She said I better have her at that resort ready to go in it whenever we're permitted to go in it. So that means I'm leaving here at 4 a.m. Saturday morning, so I just couldn't see a 2-hour trip from Trousdale, so that's why I'm not there. But should be a great game, man. I envy you guys that are going to watch that one. It should be a great game. All right. Well, let's take another quick break. Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to put all these commercials in, and I don't want you to listen to the dial tone and everything while I'm calling. So bear with me on the advertisements here. I'm going to get back with you right after this one. Hey, folks, I want to mention another one of our sponsors. That's Elaborate Images. Owner is Marcia Howard. They do a great job for us. They're responsible for our banners, our T-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, all kinds of apparel. In addition, they do bags, they do drinkware, they do office supplies, trophies. It's laser cutting and etching. They do, all kinds of services, and they do an excellent job. We're very happy with it. I haven't had a single one of these hats that somebody didn't want whenever we visited different teams and different facilities throughout the season. So everybody's really, amazed at the quality of their merchandise. We appreciate Marcia Howard and all those guys do at Elaborate Images for us here at the Friday Main Event. Wanted to give you a little information on them. Again, they are located in Unionville. I do have a link posted on the FridayMainEvent.com directly to the ElaborateImages.com website. So check them out, man. They've got some great merchandise. They do quality work at good, reasonable prices. So appreciate everything Elaborate Images has done for us here on the Friday Main Event. All right, we are back, guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Looks like we got a pretty good participation so far. I got Lawn Man and Darnell having their own little conversation there on the side. That's cool. I like it. and I bet he's going to be paying attention now because I got his man. And, of course, I'm talking about Marshall County head coach Thomas Osteen on with us. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
Man, doing good, Mike.
Coach, it's always great to speak with you, but, during this pandemic, outside of Metro, I hadn't had a chance to catch up to any coaches down here in Southern Middle Tennessee that actually missed a game as a result of it. When did you find out you guys were going to have to miss that first game against Columbia Academy?
I'd say the Friday before things got a little hairy, and the weekend before, and just obviously just we're just uncharted waters and all the stuff we're doing now, and there's I don't know what each school system's got to follow, but basically we've got this COVID-19 rubric that all administrators are supposed to follow, and kind of it was said earlier in the summer that COVID-19 is not going to shut a school down. It's going to be following this rubric.
Right.
And basically it was, kids that had been contact traced that supposedly may or may not have been in contact with, somebody that may have had it. So that was, we had a few too many of those kids that have been contact traced, and and it, one thing led to another, and just decided there was, kind of enough too much excitement to play a football game right there, if that made sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I talked to Coach Hunt about that earlier. They had a couple of their starters that missed that week 1 game against William Blount. Same thing. Fortunately, they probably, I'm guessing, probably got a little bit larger roster than you. They were able to still play, but I kind of assumed that's probably what it was. Well, once you got the green light to return back to full contact, how many days was it, you actually got a chance to practice before the Lincoln County game?
Well, we were fortunate. We had great participation all June and July, and hadn't had any cases on the team. Or of course, obviously school hadn't started back, so man, we were really lucky. And I felt like we got under the current guidelines, I felt we got as much stuff in June and July as anybody did. And like all things that seem too good to be true, it probably was right there when our school started. And came back on campus. Kind of one thing led to another, and so basically. That whole we had to not practice that whole first week leading up to what would have been game 1. So we basically missed a week. So we missed, Mike.
So you got your normal prep then for that Lincoln County game, or what you would have got had you played.
That's right. Yes, sir. We did.
Well, speaking of Lincoln County, that was, in my opinion, that's a very impressive win. I didn't really know what to expect going into that one. They had beat what we thought was going to be a really good, and I still think they're a very good Giles County squad in week 1, a solid contender there in 3A. Were you pretty happy with how you guys played in that first game?
Well, it was considering all the circumstances and, an hour rain delay after a few minutes to start the game, we definitely were sloppier than we wanted to be on offense and kick the ball around a little bit, but all being told, we was really, really happy, and the kids were, so pumped to be out there again after missing that first week. And you're right, Lincoln County beat what I think is a really good Giles team in week 1. So yes, it was, but it really felt like more of a first scrimmage as opposed to a first game, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir. And when I looked over your stats from last week, probably the biggest thing that stuck out to me was seeing your Christian Stacy had a big game for you guys on defense. Talk a minute about that senior linebacker of yours last week. What a big game he had.
Yeah, man. Just he's every coach in the state would love to have a Christian Stacy on their team. He's a 3-year starter for us. His dad was a starting inside linebacker on the '84 championship team over here in Lewisburg, and
Okay, he's
um,
about
so
my age
just
then.
that's right, that's right. Just a great football family, and I think he had 15 tackles
Yep.
last week, and just a throwback, old school, hard hat, lunch pail kid, and he's really the leader of our team.
And coach, you've got a solid young quarterback returning in Bryson Hammonds. He did a really good job leading a good squad last year. You had, he's here back now with a year of maturity under his belt. How much have you noticed that he's taking more of a command of that huddle, and how impressed have you been with Bryson so far?
Yeah, just there's no substitute for experience, and he started every game for us last year and got better each week, and feeling the speed of high school football, um, and just getting a better control of the offense. And I think there's a couple things with him. Biggest thing, his body's matured even more. He's a bigger. I'd say he's probably put on 15 pounds of muscle from last year. He had a strong arm last year. He's got a strong arm this year, and just being able to make quicker rapid process decisions with the ball, kind of being a point guard and distributing it. I'm really excited about the level I think he can get to.
Mike Molder talking to Marshall County head coach Thomas Osteen here on the Friday Main Event. Key Howard, he's a dynamic receiver for you guys last year, Coach. Had some pretty lofty expectations for him coming into the season. I think he only had 4 catches last week, but he figures to be a threat at any time. He can potentially be a game changer for you guys, can he, Coach?
Yeah, he's a kid that's played a lot of football for us over the last 2 years. Um, he's a slot receiver kid. Runs good routes. Has got very very good hands. I kid his older brother all the time who plays for the Citadel now. That you just wish his older brother Jay that you just wish he had as good hands as a guy. But no, just he loves Tiger football, and is really a part of our most experienced receiving core we've had in about 3 or 4 years. So hopefully those are things that really excite our offense, and like you said, it was going to help Bryson out a whole lot this year.
I don't know about that. His brother's pretty darn good. I remember watching him. he had some pretty good hands on him.
That's right. Jay was a great player.
Yes, sir. Connor Hilton, Coach, leading returning rusher from last season. I think he was your leading rusher last week as well. Was credited with a couple of fumbles last week. I'm sure you weren't happy about that. Did you see, how did he respond to that in practice, and what's your thoughts on Connor?
Yeah, that's a great question. Connor started for us on defense the last 2 years, and is obviously going to play a ton of defense for us this year too. But just kind of, he was the next man up in being the primary ball carrier for us on offense. He's a big, fast, strong kid, just a high character kid. But that was definitely my worry. Just he hadn't carried the ball many times before in a game. He carried it two or three, 4 times a game last year, but it's just never been the guy yet. So it was a sloppy field, rainy conditions. Nobody. He's one of those kids you didn't have to coach him very much at all. It doesn't mean it means more to him than anybody out there. So definitely something that hopefully he's got a feel for now, and
right.
Of carrying the ball for a big load.
Well, Coach, I did see you guys have got 7 starters back on that defense side of the ball. Who are some of the kids, besides obviously Stacy, that you're expecting to lead you on that side of the ball?
On our defensive line, we've got 2 all-region returning starters. 53, Tyler Davis, he's a nose. He's an undersized nose, but he's a strong kid. Runs the ball really well. Defensive end, Logan McKnight, he was a first-team all-region player last year. He had 8 tackles last week. Had a really good start. And then, of course, Stacy at linebacker, got another experienced senior linebacker, Joseph Gold. And then a sophomore linebacker in Damari Braden that's going to have a really good career. But probably the strength of our team probably is our secondary. We've got 6 or 7 guys who have started games in the secondary before across the board. Caden Whitson, 3-year starter in the secondary. Lamorion Pierce, be a 2-year starter. Hayden Shepard, a 2-year starter. in the secondary. Of course, Connor Hilton has been a 3-year starter in the secondary, but we're going to try to take some rips off of him a little bit if we can over there. So just if there's a strength of our team or the most experience, it's definitely our defensive secondary.
Well, Coach, I really need to mention one guy I think is going to be a key player for you guys, especially in those close games. Of course, we're talking about senior John Estes. I think he returned. I think he had 36 touchbacks last year. Added 5 more to it last week. Your opponent this week, Tullahoma, they've got a very good. And I talked to Scott Chastain, who does the play-by-play for Tullahoma earlier. I don't know that there is an edge in the kicking game this week. Normally, you guys are headed into every game with a kicking edge, but talk a minute about Estes and what a weapon he is.
Yeah, man. If you want to see great special teams play, come to Lewisburg tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
Estes, he's be a 3-year starter for us. He made 14 field goals last year, led the state, which in high school football, I need to knock on wood, but kind of unprecedented, just as many makes as he had last year. But the crazy part is, it may be tough to equal that field goal number, but just he's gotten a lot better. He's probably added about 10 pounds of muscle, has worked like crazy in the weight room, and so just his leg strength is much more significant. And we kicked off 5 times last week, and he hit 3 of them out of the back of the end zone.
Wow.
So just a huge weapon.
Yes, sir. And I just mentioned Tullahoma. They're coming in with 2 really impressive wins over Shelbyville and Coffee County. If I'm there was like 3 games I wanted to go to, and this was one of them. But if I'm down there in that Lewisburg area, man, this has got the makings to be a really good game. What's your thoughts on Tullahoma and how they looked in the film study this week?
Man, just I think it's my 7th year in Lewisburg. I think it's the best Tullahoma team in the past 7 years, and obviously Coach has always does such a great job, and they've had really good teams the last 2 or 3 years. I think this is the best one because their line of scrimmage is so good. I mean, they're huge up front on both sides of the ball, and of course on top of that they've got the best, the most dynamic returning skill player in our region, Jacoby Thomas. So it's just they've got just some great ingredients. They've got a good young quarterback who I hope still a little bit away from completely finding his oats, but they're really, really good, really physical. There's a lot of people that's picked them to win our region, and rightfully so. So definitely happy we've got him at home this year.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Osteen, man, always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Good luck tomorrow night. I think that's going to be a great game, and win or lose, these 2 teams, there's a strong possibility they may see each other again in the postseason, I think.
No doubt. It means we've done some good things if we get a chance to see them the second time around.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, good luck to you, my friend, and we'll be hollering at you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. All right. Thomas Osteen, head coach. I got you, South Towner, in the house. I started to ask him about Springfield, but I didn't want to. I saw that long, man. I started to ask him about Springfield, and I'm pretty sure he'd give me the standard coach speak. We're not worried about Springfield till we play Tullahoma. Usually, when you jump way ahead in the schedule, they're not gonna acknowledge that you ask about a team way down the line. So, sorry, Lawman. I did see your comment there, but I wasn't going to ask him about Springfield. That's too far out for them. They get their hands full tomorrow night. I think that Tullahoma game is going to be a good one, man. I may wind up. No, because I didn't talk to Coach Puckett. I'm heading over to Shelbyville, but I'd really like to watch that game. I think it's going to be a good one. If I was around Lewisburg, that's where I would be at tomorrow night. It's going to be a good game. And Scott Chastain will have the play-by-play for you on 93.9 The Duck. So check him and Ken out, 2 of the best in the business on the play-by-play. They aren't too biased. They're a little biased, but they're pretty legit. I mean, they're not the extreme homers you hear out of a lot of play-by-play guys. They put out a good product. That's where I would tune in. That's where I'm going to be checking out while I'm at Shelbyville. I'll be checking over on 93.9 The Duck and listening to Scott and Ken call that game. All right, folks, I'm going to take one more break and get our next coach up. I got my buddy J.R. Kirby from Covington coming on next, so appreciate you guys. This is the Friday main event, and I will be back after this. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you about a new sponsor that's come on board with us this season. That's the Cutting Edge. Joan Molder, my beautiful wife, is the proprietor of this establishment, and she wanted to know why I did not have any advertisements for her on the Friday main event. Well, that's a very good question. I don't really know the answer to that. Probably because I cater mostly to male clientele, and I'm only permitting very average to bad looking men to enter that establishment. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, she's got her own shop, and she's very proud of the shop. And she does have primarily a female clientele. She does pedicures, manicures, obviously hairstyles, colors, cuts, perms. Anything you would expect with any salon. That she has a tanning bed, so she's got all anything you want, and she has the ability to give you exclusive treatment for you women. She's the only hairstylist at the salon, so you get that one-on-one time that you don't see with the big salons. It's a good experience. Again, it's primarily for women. You got that, men? Kidding, kind of. But all right, we are back on the Friday main event. I am Mike Molder, your host, and I'm on the wrong camera. You don't want that camera. This stuff's too confusing. There we go. Main camera. There we go. Yeah, this is a Friday main event. I'm Mike Molder, your host. We've had a bunch of great coaches on. We start things off with Maryville head coach Derek Hunt. And you can go back and play these over if you're just now tuning in with us. Then we had Gavin Webster, head coach at Watertown, join us. And I just got off the phone with Thomas Osteen, the head coach over at Marshall County. Big game for those guys tomorrow night. Got one of my favorite guys over in West Tennessee joining us now, and of course that's J.R. Kirby, Covington head coach. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
Man, we're doing great, Mike. Thanks for having us on.
No problem, man. What'd you tell me? I probably need to just fire Lee Teat.
Yeah, just fire Lee and just bring Donovan Stewart on. He probably does a better job than me. They look a lot alike. They both got the goatee going on and all that.
Oh no, you didn't.
No, we miss Lee. I wish he was on the show tonight.
Oh, Derek Hunt said that it wasn't the same without Lee Teat on here. I was like, man, you don't need to say that. That'll swell his head up, man.
Y'all like tag team champs. You see one without the other. You don't ever see that. So.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. Well, hey, man, you've got an awesome start to the season. You had a big win over a real solid Haywood team. When you messaged me, what was the end of July, saying you had an open date. And I never thought you'd pull out a game this big. So that was a big win for you guys, wasn't it?
Big game. We were supposed to go to Georgia. They backed their season up 2 more weeks. They were already a week behind us.
Right.
So we were looking. We talked to some people. Didn't really shake up. We really thought me and Coach Jacobs with Peabody talked. We really thought that'd be a great matchup. That didn't work out. Then Coach Smith was looking and. Finally, we just kept texting back and forth saying, look, let's just play. It's going to be good for both squads. You're supposed to be the best in 4A in West Tennessee. We've kind of been the best in 3A the last 4 years. So let's just get it on. And I said it'll pay dividends later on, especially down the road. And, it was a hard-nosed football game, very, very physical football game. That was an old school Big Ten rival game, as those old guys like to say, back in the day, Covington and Haywood. And, we were fortunate to come away with a win, but our kids played extremely hard, and it was a big, big win for our program to go over there on the road to beat a 4A power like that in week 2.
Well, Flowers, your fullback, he had a big night, Coach. I think he had 31 carries, 124 yards. It was a huge for your team, especially in that final drive. I think you just kept on pounding the ball, handing the ball to him. They just couldn't stop it. I think you guys actually wound up taking a knee down there inside the 5-yard line. Talk a minute about Flowers and what a big game he had for you.
He's been with us since a freshman. Our freshman practiced with us, and Marion Flowers has grown up a lot. And the big question mark was replacing Andrew Scott at fullback, senior left us last year. And we told Flowers in off season, you got to grow up. You got to play. He plays sparingly here and there, but boy, he had to come out part against Haywood, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was really not the plan. We wanted to get him some carries, but we finally just settled down at halftime. They were doing some things to us to take Marcus Hayes and Jamarian Down away, and we just finally said, well, let's just go with what they're giving us. And yeah, that last drive, that big pick we had, Keith Brown had, and then we got it with 6:07 and pretty much just milked it away. I think Haywood only had 15 plays in the second half, So we pretty much dominated the game those last two drives. I think the drive that we went up a score was 17 plays, 83 yards, and that one was 12 plays. And like I said, we marched it to the 3. And like I said, we took a knee. Wasn't really no reason to try to stick it in there.
Right.
We won the game and try to get out of Haywood with a win, which we did.
That's good. I think Carson Ruffin is running the show for you behind center. He's doing a great job. He's really, I think he's done a good job of balancing the game plan. He's keeping teams honest. He hasn't thrown the ball a lot, but when he does, he's very accurate with it. I think that, Flowers running the ball up the middle, and of course, Ruffin being able to keep that pass threat alive has really kind of kept people from keying on your star Marcus Hayes. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, we got some more weapons this year. Dalton Dickerson at wide out. Reshawn Dyson comes back to us at wide out. He's mainly been a defensive player. Carson, he would tell you this night and day from last year. He comes in, set out his sophomore year, comes in a junior, following Brock Lomax, 4-year starter. It was rough. It was rough first part of the season. He did not have some good games for us. And then he would have moments. But towards the end of the year, Mike, he really carried us. He really carried us in those playoffs when we had Jamar and Marcus was hurt. Had to start two sophomores at running back there behind him, and then we had Andrew Scott had to lean on him, but man, he played good down the stretch in the playoffs, and he's a big reason we got to semifinals. And he just picked up right where we let off, and I think that I heard some other coaches talk about not having scrimmages, not having jamborees, which do hurt you, but I think for us having so many guys back on both sides of the ball. And knowing our coaching staff, I didn't have a turnover. One of our coaching staff, we actually hired Coach Narcisse, used to coach with me on staff, so we actually got better in that department. So all our kids understanding the scheme, what to expect, it was like riding a bike. When we were able to go back to working out, have a ball out, and do all that stuff, it was just like riding a bike. And I think that's probably have helped us more. I think if we were going into this team last year's team with this situation, I think we'd be in a lot more trouble. So that's really played dividends for Carson. Carson's played well, and we're going to need him to continue to play well if we're going to get to where we need to get down the road.
We're talking to Covington head coach J.R. Kirby here on the Friday Main Event. Coach, you guys came out smoking hot there week one. I think you dropped 41 on Mumford in the first half. I think your defense only gave up 87 yards in that game, held a very good Haywood team, as you mentioned, to 13 points last week. Who are some key players on that defense? I mean, that defense has really shined for you guys so far this year.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Larico Burton is back at linebacker. Caleb Winfrey last year got hurt. He was his half brother, and he's back. He's two-time All-State. He's been playing since sophomore. Cooper Barbee is his other linebacker. He was second in teams. A.C. Young, Reshawn Dyson, Jalen Payne that had to step up as a freshman and sophomore last year. He was a sophomore, had to step up and play down the stretch. Is our free safety. He's played well. That front line has played well. Miley Sherrill's a senior. C.J. Fain, Tyron Smith's a sophomore. So we got some guys coming back even next year. They're young, but that linebacker core has been is pretty stout. And Rico led us in tackles again for 2 games in a row, and he kind of sets the tone on our defense, gets people lined up. He's not very big, but he brings the thump now when he comes to tackling. So he's kind of been the tone setter for us, and it all goes hand in hand. I mean, Weller offensive line play the other night. I should have mentioned him earlier. It all goes back and forth. I mean, defense is going to play pretty good when you ain't got to play 15 snaps in the second half.
Right.
But they did. They did what they had to. Made Haywood punt the football, then had a big turnover when we needed it. And then against Mumford, they come out ready. It was at home opener. They were fired up.
They were definitely, yeah. Everybody was fired up that week one. They didn't know if they was going to get to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So they played well. I mean, I expect them to play well tomorrow night against Bolivar. They've had a great week of preparation. So, we're just trying to get better, man. Stay healthy. That's kind of been our Achilles heel down the stretch when we get into the playoffs. Or, we're fortunate to get where we need to get to. It's just trying to stay healthy. We were banged up a lot last year, and we just want to be healthy. And like Coach Hunt, I heard him say, just playing our best ball in November. I mean, that's when the bills get paid at Covenants in November, not in August or September, like most people worry about. We're worried about how we're going to get to November and how we're going to get them bills paid. And that's what we talk about our kids getting better every day.
Well, you mentioned Bolivar tomorrow night. Now, that team, Coach, is 0-2. I don't think they won a region game last year. You just talked about it. Your goal is to keep healthy. this may be a game where some of your younger kids get some action there in the second half. I guess they're pretty fired up in practice this week, knowing that hey, they may get your number called this week, aren't they?
Well, I mean, I hope that's the case at halftime, but I don't know. We respect Bolivar. Coach Kraft is they're trying to run the wing tee this year and put their kids in the best position to compete. They had some flashes against Scotts Hill. So we prepared for them just like we were playing Brighton next week, or we're playing Mumford, or we're playing Milan. I mean, it's a big game. Like I told our kids, Bolivar is 10 times bigger than Haywood. Our kids wanted to play Haywood, and they were fired up. But Bolivar's a region game. Haywood and Grand things and Mumford doesn't mean anything.
Right.
We got to win this week, and we have prepared well. I had to get their attention one day, but and we got refocused pretty quickly. But we'll be ready to go tomorrow night, and I expect a good showing, and I expect our kids to execute. And like I said, if you want to be a championship program, you got to prepare every day like your championship program. I mentioned it, Alcoa. I mean, you don't ever see Alcoa play down to the competition, or
no.
They dominate. And if we're trying to get back, play them, and be on that caliber like some people think we are. I don't know if we're there yet. No way, no how. But I mean, you got to prepare every day like you're a champion. And I thought our kids did that after one day. I thought they got refocused and really, took care of what they needed to take care of. And I think they'll be ready tomorrow night.
Well, I mean, looking down the schedule, this region schedule, you guys have got Westview coming in on the 18th. They're currently 2-0. Heading into that game last year, we thought that could potentially be a good game, and you guys just destroyed them, 53-7. Is that just a bad matchup personnel-wise for them? I was really, I'm not degrading them, but I was actually shocked you guys handled them that easy.
Well, I mean, in that game, we scored on the first play from scrimmage, and I think our speed was a problem for them all night. They had some miscues on special teams that we took advantage of. I think we blocked a punt. I think they had a couple of snaps over the head, and then before they got set down good over there, we was up 28-0. It just got away from them very, very quickly. And then Coach McConnell was there last year. He's a great coach, does a good job. They try to make some adjustments, and I just think our speed, especially defensively, was a big issue for them. I don't think they'd seen anybody up till then like us, because we were totally healthy that night on defense.
Right.
And I thought that was a big issue for them. Quarterback's, of course, great. I mean, he's a great kid. He's probably one of the best that I've seen.
Yes, sir. I'd agree. He can
swing it. Yeah, he's good. I've not seen but just a few clips of him this year. So we'll see. I mean, I know they got a new coach, and I think they're doing some similar things, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there at Westview. But that'll be a big one. We got to go up there, long drive for us, and play at Martin Stadium. But it'll be a big matchup for sure.
Well, hey man, your buddy, your brother from another mother, Marty Wheeler. He's got a big one tomorrow night. He's got Maryville. We just had Coach Hunt on. They'll be. I think they've won 133 straight region games. The Maryville Rebels. I know that's insane. You got any advice for your brother on that one?
Happy birthday, Coach. Happy birthday.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Enjoy your birthday. No, I mean, they know what to do. I mean, we've been in games together, me and him in the past. They're going to put a great game plan together, and his kids will go compete. They're going to play hard. I wouldn't be shocked if they're in the game. Better showing than they had last year. But he knows he's got a tough matchup tomorrow night. But I promise you, those kids are going to play hard for Coach Wheeler and for Cleveland, and they'll put a good showing on. And you never know. But if the ball bounces the right way, they can come out with one.
Yes, sir.
But definitely, playing a great program in Maryville, he knows that, and the kids know that. But at the end of the day, you just got to go play. The ball's going to be kicked off, and you just got to go play. And I think they'll be ready.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, I ain't gonna hold you up, brother. I'm fixing to call Lee and tell him he's fired. He's gonna get on pick games with me. I'm gonna tell him you said to fire him. But good luck to you, man. Hopefully you'll be able to jump on with us again before season's up.
Yeah, man. I look forward to it. I appreciate it, man. And go Chargers.
Go Chargers. We'll see you, brother. That's J.R. Kirby. Love the dude, man. He's hilarious. He's on my Facebook. I get a kick out of watching him on Facebook. He's always posting something. He's catching fish and out on that boat. He has a big time over there in Covington. All right, let me. Well, I guess I probably should take my last. I'm gonna take my last commercial break, fellas. Just be patient with me. This will be a quick one. I'm gonna get my partner Lee Teat here on the air, and we'll pick some more games for you guys. Appreciate all you join. Hey, get on that live chat. I'm gonna hit you guys up more. I've been having to focus on the coaches. I see a little bit of conversation going on in the background. You guys help us pick these games. Lee don't have the luxury of sitting beside me looking at the screen, so he might struggle. So you guys help us out. We'll be back after this. Hey folks, I want to talk to you about a new sponsor that's come on board with us this season. That's the Cutting Edge. Joan Molder, my beautiful wife, is the proprietor of this establishment, and she wanted to know why I did not have any advertisements for her on the Friday Main Event. Well, that's a very good question. I don't really know the answer to that. Probably because I cater mostly to male clientele, and I'm only permitting very average to bad-looking men to enter that establishment. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, she's got her own shop, and she's very proud of the shop. And she does have primarily a female clientele. She does pedicures, manicures, obviously hairstyles, colors, cuts, perms, anything you would expect with any salon. That she has a tanning bed, so she's got anything you want, and she has the ability to give you exclusive treatment for you women. She's the only hairstylist at the salon, so you get that one-on-one time that you don't see with the big salons. It's a good experience. Again, it's primarily for women. You got that, men? Kidding, kind of. But yeah, she's got a good business out there. 99% of her clientele is repeat customers. She's got people that have been coming to her for 20 years. She does a great job. Very personable, and very tolerant of people like me. All right, folks, we are back. I got the man, the myth, the legend, Lee Teat joining me now. Derek Hunt said the show ain't the same without him. J.R. Kirby said to fire him. So I'm going to go with Coach Hunt, Lee. We're going to keep you around, brother.
Hey, that'll be good. I don't like Coach Kirby anymore.
How'd Sheepdog do tonight?
He played all right. They won 14-8, just actually wrapped up. But
Okay.
he's got to take care of the ball a little better. You know how dads are, though. I'm a little rough on him.
Yeah. I'm sure he did fine. I'm sure Uncle Mike would have been proud of him. That's good. Good deal. All right, brother. Well, let's. We got a whole lot of games. I left a whole lot of them on the chart for you to help me out with.
All right.
The next one that I've got listed to talk about is Warren County and Rockville. And Lee, our chat session guys, have been helping me out a little bit with these picks too. This is a tough game, man. Warren County with the win last week over Cannon County, 48-0. Of course, they beat a pretty darn good DeKalb County team week 1, 2-0. Warren County, not used to seeing 2-0 right there. And then Rockville picked up their first win last week over Franklin County, 20-17. Coach Rick Rice gets the first win in program history. I'm in a coin flip on this one, man. What's your thoughts?
Mike, I'm gonna go. I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna go Warren County on the road.
Warren County on the road. I was kind of leaning that way too, based on the DeKalb County win, Lee. But not so fast, my friend. I think Rick Rice's squad got a little taste of winning. 71% of the Twitter followers at Tennessee Sports like Rockville to pick up win number 2. I'm going to go with the Rockets in this one, man. I had a tough time with this one, but I've decided I'm going to go Rockville, man.
All
right. Next one, Lee, is the big game over in Maryville, and of course we're talking about our buddy Marty Wheeler. Happy birthday, Coach. I hope you had a great birthday, my friend. Cleveland Blue Raiders heading to Maryville, Lee Teat, and we had Coach Hunt on with us tonight. First time this year, and I'm sorry, Coach Wheeler, first time this year, 100% of the Twitter followers of Tennessee Sports says Maryville's going to win this game. That's the first shutout we've had. What's your thoughts, Lee Teat?
Mike, everybody knows, man, Maryville at home is very difficult. I know Coach Wheeler's going to have a good game plan. And I think, the first half, it'll probably be a pretty competitive game, but I think Maryville pulls away later.
I agree with you, Lee. I think Maryville wins this game. Coach said his new quarterback, Carson Jones, looked really good. He's got some pretty solid kids in the backfield playing well for him, and they're at home. If this game was at Cleveland, I might give them a little outside shot to maybe pull an upset here, but Maryville's really tough to beat at home. And they're actually selling standing room only tickets there at Maryville.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that on Coach T today. So they'll have a lot of people on the fence there yelling for the Red Rebels. And I think I agree with Kirby. I think Coach Wheeler will have a darn good game plan coming in there, and I think they will keep that game close initially. But in the end, they won this game 49-14 last year. Maryville, I'm talking about.
Right.
They've won 133 region games in a row, Lee Teat. That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, like I said, I think Coach Wheeler always has a good game plan.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, I think they'll be competitive in the first half. But I think in the second half, home field advantage comes into play, and I think Maryville pulls away.
I agree. I'll take the Red Rebels as well. Campbell County and Oak Ridge, Joe Gaddis's squad. Lee, you picked Dobbins Bennett to win last week. I thought they may. I thought Mitchell Givens might have a big game last week and upset Dobbins Bennett, but it didn't happen. They only put 3 points up on the board. 19-3 was the win for DB. Campbell County lost to Carter 24-13. Both teams set at 1-1 now. I think this is a region opener for both teams. Oak Ridge won this game 40-0 last year. I think Oak Ridge rights the ship and wins.
I do too, Mike. I think Oak Ridge starts to put some points on the board this week. They ran into a really, really, really good squad last week in Dobbins Bennett, but I think Oak Ridge will get points on the board.
I agree with you, brother. I like Joe, and 91% of our Twitter followers like Oak Ridge to win that. Here's a good one, Lee Teat, and that's Richland at Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, no, this has been an intriguing game for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with this one right here. Mount Pleasant was off last week. Week 1, they lost by 1 point to a really good Summertown squad. This is, again, a region opener for both teams. Richland beat Collinwood 26-10 last week. I think you and I both picked Collinwood to win that one, did we not?
Sure did. Yes, sir.
Richland's got 8 starters back on offense, 7 on defense. They got a young sophomore quarterback, Peyton Sharp, looks good. Mount Pleasant had their way with the Raiders last year, 40-14. I think I'm leaning toward the Tigers in this one.
I like Mount Pleasant at home. What do they got? What do they call that? Sundrop Stadium or?
Man, I think that's right. That sounds right. I believe that's right.
Yeah, I like Mount Pleasant at home. I think Coach Bradley gets back on track this week. That team last week, Summertown's legit, man. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
And they played them tight.
Yeah.
I like Mount Pleasant.
I'm going to go with them too, but I think this game will be a good one, Lee. Nick Patterson's got a good squad, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this game be very close.
You think it'll go down to the last possession?
It could. I think it's definitely not going to be the 40-14 finish it was last year. I don't think. I may be surprised, but I think Richland. I think Coach Patterson does a good job over there. And I think they got a pretty solid squad this year with a lot of kids back.
Right.
Fayetteville and Huntland Lee Teat. This is another Region 5 1A opener. Our fan base on Twitter likes the Fayetteville Tigers 74%.
Really?
To win this one. I hadn't even been keeping up with my guys. South Tanner likes Warren County. He's with you, Lee. So, sorry about that, fellas. I forgot to look over at that. South Tanner's got Warren County. Lawman likes Warren County. I've lost my, there's my mouse. So, got a pop-up box that's covering me up. So, South Tanner likes Maryville, and Lawman likes Oak Ridge. And South Tanner likes Oak Ridge. Now, back to the Fayetteville Huntland game. Ain't none of them picked the Mount Pleasant game. I may be scared of that one. Fayetteville and Huntland Lee Teat. Oh, South Tanner likes Mount Pleasant. He's with us so far, I think. No, he had Warren, and I at Rockville. So you and him might get a leg up on me. Fayetteville at Huntland, Lee. Who you like in that one?
Well, I think the question here, man, is can Bob Robertson start this season 3-0? I think he can.
I think you can. Southtowner thinks you can. I like them, Lee. They've played some pretty good competition. I was at that Eagleville game,
Right.
and they pretty much handled them up front all day long. Kobe Stewart is having a big year for him so far. I like him, man. Stewart's already got 366 yards and 8 TDs in 2 games. That's pretty darn good right there. Almost 200 yards a game rushing.
Hey, he's a man too, man.
He is. He's a big kid. And Bryson Johnson, the sophomore, he's got 256 yards, and he's kind of like a photocopy of Colby. He's not quite as big, but he's definitely headed in that direction. So they got 2 huge kids running the ball, and they got a really good offensive line in front of them. Now, Fayetteville's got a quarterback, Sam Holdmeyer. He's completed 60% of his passes, Lee, for 176 yards, so he's playing really well too. But he's been sacked a lot. He's got negative 54 rushing yards, which tells me he's been on his backside a lot.
Correct.
So I like Huntland to win this one, man. I'm going against our fan base in this one.
I'm going Huntland at home, and I think it'll be a tight ball game, but I think that offensive line will start working in the fourth quarter, so I like Huntland late.
Southtown and Lawman like Huntland. They're with us. Springfield and White House Heritage Lee Teat. The Yellow Jackets, 81% of our fan base like Dustin Wilson's squad to win. I'm going to tell you, this was a 42-41 game Springfield won last year. And if you'll remember, Lee, White House Heritage got red hot at the end of the year last year. They beat East Robertson last week. They beat, let me see, I got that in my notes somewhere. They beat, they're 2-0. I don't know who they beat first week. I don't have that wrote down. Oh, yeah, they beat MTCS. MTCS has actually got a pretty good team. I think they beat Friendship Christian last week, who beat Trousdale.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Don't automatically pencil in Springfield on this one. Watch it, Southtowner. This one might get you, brother. I think Heritage is pretty good ball team, and they're at home. What do you think, Lee?
I'm going to go on a limb, Mike, and say that White House Heritage wins this game at home.
I'm leaning that way too, man. I'm seriously leaning. Only thing I'm worried about is Springfield seems to, Coach Wilson always seems to find a way to win those close games. I think this is going to be a close game.
It is going to be a close game. It may be like it was last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. This is a tough one, man. I struggle with this one.
Springfield's backfield good.
Parker Deaton is back at running back. He had 1,300 yards for Heritage last year. Lee, I'm really considering going with you on this one, brother. But Southtowner likes him. Lawman likes him. 81% of our fan base likes him. I'm going to go Yellow Jackets. I'm going Springfield. I may wish I hadn't done that, but I'm going to go that way. Page at Shelbyville, Lee Teat. This is a game I'll be at. I talked to Coach Puckett a little earlier in the week. He's got my media credentials okayed. I'm good to go to Shelbyville. This is a big game here, 34-29. Page won this game last year, Lee. Remember, on a controversial call there at the end of the game.
That's right.
DeMarcus Smalls had a big game last week, 182 yards rushing. He scored, I think, once in a 29-7 win over Columbia Academy. Page came back from behind and beat Siegel late in the game, a game that was played at Blackman High School.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tough one to pick here too, brother. What do you think?
I'm gonna go Shelbyville at home, Mike.
I think I'm gonna. I don't know, brother. Scott Chastain saw Shelbyville live. You know, when they played Tullahoma, I had him on to start the show, and he likes Page.
Really?
But I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go Golden Eagles. I think Puckett has got a couple of weeks under his belt getting that game plan in there at Shelbyville, and like you said, they are at home. I'm going to go Golden Eagles. I think this is going to be a 2 or 3 point game, though.
Well, I tell you what, man, you can't. I don't know that you can read in much on that Tullahoma game, Mike, because Tullahoma's legit.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We're going to pick that one too, Lee. I'll
Yeah.
save that one for you.
Okay.
Fulton at Powell, Jordan Potts, man, that kid.
Oh, did you see
Dude.
that play last week? That was unbelievable.
I did, man. He is legit. He passed for 343 yards, 3 touchdowns against Anderson County. Like you say, Lee, led them on that game-winning drive and threaded a needle right there on the goal line. He's a ball player.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mike, I like Powell at home in this.
I like Powell at home too. Powell won this one 34-0. And I think Potts is just going to get better as the year goes. What video I've dug up of him. Man, this kid, him and probably Dameron over at Henry County may be the 2 best sophomore quarterbacks in the state.
I wouldn't doubt that in the least.
Yeah, Ryan Dameron is having a really good year for Henry County, and Jordan Potts. Wow, I'd like to see those kids may wind up seeing each other on down the road, Lee.
It's very possible.
It's a possibility.
Very possible.
Beach may have something to say about that, but
well, this Powell team beat Beach.
Yes, they did.
They did. And I tell you what, they got. Potts is awesome, but man, he's got some weapons.
He does.
He has some weapons.
Yeah, he does. He's got some really good receivers, sophomore receivers that are, excuse the French, but badass.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good. Cookville at Riverdale Lee Teat, your buddy Jimmy Maynard. He's gotten off to a good start, 2-0. Had a close game, 33-28 over Livingston Academy. I thought they'd win that game a little more last week. And then Riverdale, I think they battled back against Franklin, won that game 30-25. They're 1-1 now. Of course, Riverdale lost to CPA there in week 1. Stockton Owen at quarterback's playing really well. Lee, what's your thoughts on this one?
Oh man, Mike. You look at it on paper, man. Riverdale's got all this talent. They got Holcomb over there now and Javon Nelson and all those kids. But I tell you what, man. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Cookville wins this game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's always a battle, that game right there.
Yes.
And Riverdale did win 35-17 last year, but last 3 or 4 years, that's been down to the wire.
Last play.
Yeah, I called a game over, if you remember, Lee, 2 or 3 years
right.
ago, and they won on a Riverdale won on a Hail Mary there, last play of the game.
Yep.
I'm going to go Riverdale. I'm going to go against you. I think that little Jameson Holcomb is getting better every week.
I agree.
I think Riverdale wins at home.
Okay.
Eagleville at Forest, another potentially good game, Lee. Eli Stevenson's squad. Our boss, Corey, said he heard, I don't know, I haven't heard, I meant to check and I didn't get a chance, that they had some kid out of Nashville that had moved in, possibly playing quarterback down there for Forest.
Really?
Have you heard anything about that?
I have not.
I have not either. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not spreading rumors, which I shouldn't do here. But I heard that. Now Max Kirby's a good quarterback, so I would be kind of shocked if he's taking a Kirby spot. But that's the rumor over in Eagleville. This is a Eagleville guy that had heard that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. 35-13, Cornersville beat Eagleville last week. Portland beat Forest 20-14 last week.
Right.
Lawman went with you on Cookville. Southtowner went with me on Riverdale.
Right.
That's boy, Southtown.
Mike, I'm going to go Forest at home.
Forest at home. I'm going to go Forest at home also, Lee. I think, I don't know. We're really going to get a better idea of Cornersville, I think, on this game. Is Cornersville that good? They steamrolled Eagleville pretty good. Does that say that Cornersville's that good or Eagleville's that bad? I don't know. I saw them against Huntland, and Huntland was definitely stronger up front. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go Forest. Our boys on the chat like Forest also.
Okay.
Hey, you other guys, just don't get threatened by Southtown and Lawman, you guys can put a pick out there too. Just jump in that live chat. You can help us out, man.
Yeah.
Make your picks.
Tell me something I need to
Make
know.
your picks. Yeah, exactly. Anybody got any info on the Forest quarterback? Is that true? I'm sure somebody out there knows whether that's right or not. Walker Valley at Ray County, Mr. Teat. This may be a pretty good game. I like Drew Atkins. I think he's got a really good quarterback. Tucker Pope has 367 passing yards, 3 TDs. He's also rushed for 115 yards, another 3 TDs. So the quarterback play has been phenomenal out of senior Tucker Pope. Ray County also 2-0. They beat Jefferson County 49-24 last week, and they beat they beat Carter in week 1.
That's right.
This is a Region 4 opener here for both of these teams. Last year it was 27-21 Ray County, so it wasn't a blowout or anything. Pretty close game last year. Walker Valley's got 15 starters back off that team and hung with them last year, Lee.
That's right. They got a nice quarterback, Tucker Pope.
Got a leader, senior leader.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with Coach Pemberton at home. I like Ray County at home.
Like Ray County at home.
Yes, sir.
What about it? What about it, fellas? Give me a little chat on this. I don't know. I'm wanting to pull the trigger here and go with the away team, and I have deep respect for Mark Pemberton, Lee Teat. He's been on our show a few times. Hell of a coach.
Yes,
sir. Lawman's going Walker Valley. He's going out on a limb. Southtowner's going Ray County. Big. Southtowner says big.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with Southtowner. However, I don't think it's big. I think it's a close game. I think it's maybe a one-score game. What do you think about that, Lee Teat?
I think 10, maybe 10 points.
10 points.
Yeah.
Columbia hosts Summit, Lee Teat, and man, Dustin Wade has been playing lights out.
Dude, this is going to be a pretty good game, I think.
I do too, Lee, because we had Columbia as a sleeper, remember?
That's right, and they ain't giving up hardly any point.
Wade has 27 of 40, 495 yards, 6 TDs, 0 interceptions. He's also carried the ball 27 times, 263 yards, and 2 more TDs. He, along with probably Potts, but however, Potts is a sophomore. I don't know how much consideration he get being a sophomore, but Wade is putting his name in the hat for early Mr. Football consideration, I think.
Well, I tell you what, man, Coach Coleman has done an excellent job already this year because I think, is it Keaton?
Yeah, Keaton's not.
He's been out.
Yeah, he's been out.
And that's that's a real weapon. Those kids are twins, twin brothers.
Well, Keaton's a number 3 rated junior in the state. I think Destin's a number 9 rated junior in the state. So yeah, I mean that's 2 twins that are they're good. They're really good.
Yes, I tell you what, man, I like Summit in this ball game, Mike, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't. I think Columbia's defense is pretty good.
They're darn good. They held Dixon County to 23-7. Columbia's only given up a total of 10 points through the first 2 games, Lee. Of course, it was Spring Hill. They played week 1, so there's not a real big offensive output team. Summit beat Independence, though, like you said, without Keaton, and I think Independence is going to be a real good team. Yeah. Tough game to pick right here. Really tough. I'm wanting to pull the trigger like old Lawman. He went with Columbia. I'm wanting to pull the trigger here, but even though you know that the poison is coming to get you as Destin Wade, you still got to be able to stop it. I mean, that's the guy that's the guy that makes it tick. But I mean, if you key on him too much, he's going to find somebody.
Well, he's finding somebody with them passing yards.
Yep, that's exactly right. I'm going to go Summit, man. I mean, we picked Summit number 1 in the state. And I talked to Coach Coleman earlier this week, Lee. I was asking him about Keaton because I thought Keaton was going to be back this game, and he said, no, he's not. It's probably going to be, a couple more weeks before he's back. But I'm going to go Summit.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yes, sir.
Lebanon at Mount Juliet. I know you're big buddies with Chuck Gentry as I am as well. I mean, you've known him a lot longer than I have, but I'm big friends with Trey Perry as well. I love the Perrys
Right.
up there at Mount Juliet. They are gracious hosts, man. I love going to football game up there.
Oh, yeah, it's a great venue.
They treat us real well up there. The Golden Bears, 90% of our fan base likes Mount Juliet. Lee, I like Mount Juliet. I think they win this game. Probably by a couple of scores. What do you think about that?
I like Mountain Juliet too, Mike. They're at home. That's a tough place to play. I know. I talked to Coach Gentry, and I know he's had a few injury bugs already.
Yeah.
His tailback, is a real good tailback. He went out on like play 4 of their first game, fourth play of the game.
Yeah, that's tough.
He's back, but I don't know if Coach Gentry and the Blue Devils are 100% healthy here at the start of the year, which is never a good sign. I'm with you, Mike. I don't think anybody. I think Golden Bears win this.
Swooner looked really good against Stewart's Creek. I don't know if you got to see that game or not. It was televised. I got a chance to go back and watch that. He looked really good, man. He threw a couple of deep balls and hit him, right in stride. So he's the real deal. He's legit.
Yep.
I think Mount Juliet is set to make a really good deep run. Of course, they got 17 starters back off of last year, Lee. So
Right. That's exactly right.
they're deep and they're experienced. I like Mount Juliet to win this one. Henry County, Dyer County. That's going to be a huge game. Region 7 opener over there in West Tennessee. These teams split last year. Henry County won 48-14 in the regular season, and then Dyer County beat them 31-24 in the second meeting. Dyer County's at home. Neither team with a significant amount of starters back from last year.
Right.
What do you think may be the difference in this one?
To be honest with you, I think the difference in this ball game, and you mentioned him just a little bit earlier, is Ryan Dammer, and I think he's the difference maker in this game. And I like.
I gave you a soft toss on that one.
Well, I like Henry County.
I like
on the
them.
road.
I like them too. I like them too. South Towner likes. South Towner. Lawman likes Dyer County. South Towner likes Dyer County. Dick,
Really?
wow. Interesting. I can't argue with them, man. That's a solid squad right there, and they were getting a lot of hype preseason. Josh Stewart's back at quarterback for them. Lee Teat. They got a senior QB.
You ain't gonna make me change my mind, Mike.
They don't even try, huh?
I'm going.
You go out there on that limb all by yourself, huh?
That's right.
I'm gonna get on that limb with you, Lee. I'm gonna go Henry County. I'm a big Ryan Dameron fan. I think they get it done. I think it's gonna be a close game though. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
I don't know. I like Henry County by 21.
Shoot. What do you? Never mind. I ain't gonna say that.
You heard it here first.
I'll say it right. I'll say it right here. Not so fast, my friend. I did a camera switch on you, Lee. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I think it's definitely a one-score game. But hey, more power to you.
All right.
Peabody, we're wrapping it up here, Lee. We're coming in on the finish line. McKenzie hosts Peabody. This may be a good game right here. This is a Region 7 matchup. Lawman said, "No way, Lee. They think you're smoking something, brother." Peabody at McKenzie, Lee. We thought McKenzie and Eli Serber at quarterback, senior quarterback, is going to be tough this year. A sleeper over in Region 7. Any chance they knock Peabody off?
No, I don't think they win, but I think this game is going to be a real good test for Peabody.
That'd be a good one to watch if you's over in that area, I think.
Yes, sir.
Be a lot of offense.
Yeah, I think a little bit too much Draquan Vaughn. I think, we talked to Coach Jacobs last week, and I think week 3 maybe Draquan's hit his stride and his asthma's getting under control, and I like Peabody.
I like them too, and the Ganaway boys as well, Khalik and Malik.
Yeah, putting up big numbers.
They putting up some big numbers. I'm trying to get a score on this. I'm going with you. I'm going Peabody, but I think it's going to be 7-10. What do you think?
Yeah, that's probably about right. 7 to 10 points.
I'm with you, brother. Now the one that Lee Teat's going to be attending tomorrow night, and I told Coach Webster to holler at you. He said he'd holler at you tomorrow.
Right.
Watertown at Trousdale County, battle on the creek bank, man. That's going to be a heck of a game. Last two contests was decided by 3 points between these two teams. Casino, the quarterback for Watertown, is playing really well. Jordan Carter, the linebacker of Watertown, I was telling talking to Coach Webster about it. He had a big game for him, Lee, 17 tackles in that loss to Nolensville. A lot of ball players in this one, man. It's always fun to watch a game over. I envy you, man. I wish I was going to be over there with you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mike. This game right here is a tough one to pick. Obviously, you know what I thought about these two teams coming into the season. I think one of these two teams is going to represent the East.
I told him you said that.
Eggs may have something to say about it.
They might. Yeah.
They're playing very well right now. But I'll tell you what, I like the home field advantage in this game. That's the only difference. I like Trousdale.
I can see that. And the home, I can see that definitely. A home team. Coach Satterfield, by the way, he said he'd get your media pass lined up for you.
Okay, good.
So you're good to go on that front. He texted me this morning. He said, "Hey, I heard you guys was coming over, and I was like, man, I wish I was." He was he's a good host, man. I always enjoy talking to Coach. But Lee, I'm gonna go with you. I think it's gonna be another 3-point game. I'm gonna go Yellow Jackets. Jaquil Holman says Watertown. Longman says TC. South Towner says TC. So I'm going to go with them, man. It makes things a lot easier on you, too, if you pick the home game when you go into the home team when you go to that game. In Trousdale County, if Yellow Jacket fellas will run you out of there, Lee, if you pick Watertown, I'll guarantee it. I did that at South Pitt last year, and I'm still hearing about it from Roy Dillard. So I won't make that mistake again. All right, so we both like TC. All right, Lee, the last one on the books we got for tonight, and that's Tullahoma at Marshall County. That's another big Region 4 game. We had John Osteen on. That's going to be a well of a game. Tough pick. Who do you like, man?
Man, I'll tell you what. As much as I love Coach Osteen and I love Bryson Hammonds, I'll tell you what, I think I talked to his dad earlier in the year. Bryson's gotten bigger.
Yeah, that's what Coach Osteen said. He said he put about 20 pounds of muscle on.
Yeah, he's gotten bigger. Obviously, coming in this year as a junior, I think he's going to be a little bit quicker reads and all that stuff. But, man, I think Coach Olive, this may be one of the best teams he's had.
Lawn man.
And Jacoby Thomas. So I'm going to go Tullahoma. And there's no advantage here in special teams.
Holman says Tullahoma on Tullahoma Cats.
Okay.
I'm going with Lawn Man. I'm going with you, brother. I'm going MC, home team.
Really?
I was really impressed, Lee Teat, with that win over Lincoln County last week. Lincoln County beat a Giles County team that I thought could contend for a spot in Cookeville.
Can they
especially. Well, that's the question. I think that's definitely my concern. I think that's probably Coach Osteen's biggest concern. And Coach Osteen was even talking about, he was talking about Jacoby Thomas being the best skill player in the region. Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. I think the kicking game is even.
Yeah.
Kicking game is even, and that's usually what's going to determine a game, when they're evenly matched. But I'm going home field advantage. That's it, Lee.
All right.
Marshall County is tough at home. Shelbyville went over there last year, and I think it's just remind me, Lee, we was at that game. Did Shelbyville get a win? Anyway.
Oh, I can't remember. I slept since then.
Anyway, the point being, Marshall County's tough to beat at home, Lee, and Tullahoma. I mean, they got Coach Osteen said it's probably the best team they've had in 7-8 years, and I agree with that.
Yes.
I think this is another 3-point game, 2-point game, 1-point game. It's going to be close. So probably a turnover here or there is probably going to decide this one.
Right. Whoever protects the ball.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
All right, Lee. Well, we appreciate all you guys in the chat. Holman likes Tullahoma, and Southtowner, he upset special Marshall County. Southtowner, he likes Marshall County also. He's with me on this one.
All right.
So you're in the minority with Holman, man.
All right.
Well, actually, you're in a majority. 56% of our fan base like the Wildcats win this one on the road.
Oh, really?
So should be a good game. Well, Lee Teat, appreciate you taking the time to jump on with me, brother, and do this. I hate that you missed it tonight, but we'll get it going back again next Thursday.
Oh yeah. Hopefully we get back to this freshman schedule where they play early in the week. So
yeah, that'll be good. Good deal.
all right, buddy.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. I'll holler at you.
All right. See you later, man.
See you. All right, folks. This is the Friday main event. Another episode in the books. We appreciate you guys joining us. A lot of watchers tonight, a lot of participation, man. Appreciate you guys. I think we got a pretty good thing going here. We try to be informative. We miss a few games, but we get most of them right. And hope you get enough information here to bring you back next week. We always enjoy doing this. Enjoy all the coaches. Appreciate Coach Hunt, Coach Webster, of course, Coach Osteen, and again, Coach Kirby for joining us tonight. So, and Coach T, appreciate you sponsoring us, brother. Everything we do is kind of a reflection of what you do at that website, and we appreciate you helping us out, man. All right, so I'm going to get off here. I appreciate you guys staying with us. We'll see you next Thursday, 6 o'clock on the Friday Main Event.